Happy Thursday night, listeners. This is the podcast where we talk life, love, and literature. I'm author Siera London, and along with my co-host, author Loren, we are Women on Words. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and here at Blog Talk Radio. Tonight, we are welcoming debut author Shirra Lynn to the show. Shirra, are you with us?
Yes. Hello.
Hello. And Lisa, are you with us?
I am here. Welcome, welcome.
Yay. This is our first show of February, and it's so good to be on the air. Shirra, we are so proud to have you here with us. It's always nice to welcome a fellow author to the ranks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what you all have in store.
All right. Well, let me just hop right into it because the time goes by so fast. So, Shirra, for our audience, and you may be new to them, tell us who you are, how long you've been writing, and what you write.
Okay, my name is Shirra Lynn, and who I am, I really don't know yet. How long have I been writing? I've been writing for a pretty long time. I started out blogging back in early 2000s. I wrote a book of poetry and published that in my very sad, depressed early 20s stage. And I was about to come out with a second book of poetry, but somehow romance kind of shot in there. Mm-hmm. And so I've been writing romance literally since March of 2020. So not very long. It's only been about a year. And I just have love and war at the moment.
Wow.
All right.
That is something. Now, Lisa, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
So, Shirra, I know that being a poetess is not easy at all. So let me just commend you for even embarking on poetry, less known publishing a book. But
thank you.
Share with us that journey from being a poet to actually penning a 219-page novel. What was that like for you?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I never really even thought about it. I was working on the second novel, trying to, I guess, regain my mojo, and COVID kind of just takes the mojo out of you. It wasn't there. When I wrote the first installment, and I'd probably like to get back to the second one at some point, I was in a very tumultuous place when it came to like love and figuring myself out and that kind of thing. And then the years just rolled by, so I didn't really think about it. I went through another long relationship and a breakup, and I thought that was going to and I actually kind of didn't want to write about it. I wanted to keep it close to my chest because it was too fresh, and, he's a wonderful person, and I just didn't want to put that out there. So one night I was just like, let me just watch Waiting to Exhale and just be in my feelings.
Go ahead now, Bernadine. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, you know what? I have not read this book. I need to read the book. Went on Amazon and then just started going down like the romance novel hole and just started reading. And I'm a voracious reader, especially when I'm stressed. Like, you can't pull me away from books. And then I just got an idea. I said, let me just write a novelette. Let me write something. Let me write 5 pages and see what happens. And that's how it started. It was actually supposed to be a book about the relationship, and I couldn't do it.
And you pivoted away from that. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Lisa because I got a whole bunch of questions from all you just said, because that's a mouthful. But we're going to break it down. Go ahead, Lisa.
It is.
Okay.
Well, I am very curious what made you write Love and War from that time period? Because that is a very interesting time period, and for the listeners, it is set in World War II era. So what made you choose that?
Okay, so I was writing not the poetry book, but I was writing the romance novel that I thought I was going to do, which was, like based on me and the whole relationship. And I had changed the person and that kind of thing. And she has this talent where she can sing, and he's in love with her because she's just so tortured and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wouldn't this be fun if we did a prequel after this? And her grandmother was some sort of, singer or something like that. And because the girl was my age, her mother would have been the age my mother was when she had me. And then I was like, okay, well, my grandmother, that would have been the age or, World War II era. And I was just outside on the back deck, and I was just thinking about how I'm going to write this book because it wasn't flowing. And I don't know what happened. I just got a picture in my head, and then all these scenes started coming. And I was like, let me write this down really quick, and I'll go back to it because nobody's going to want to read a book from, like, World War II romance. How am I even going to make that work? And that's what happened. It just started being more and more interesting, and I was hearing things and seeing things and hearing voices at night. That's pretty much it.
You know what? And that's how it is. I find. I'm sorry, Lisa. Look at me. I'm looking right at you, and I'm jumping all over you. Y'all have to forgive me. I told you it's been a while since we did the show, right? But something you said when you answered that first question, and you said that heartbreak led you to romance, really. To penning your story, pouring it out, and then through that process, you ended up writing a different story. So share with us, like, the emotion that went into this book, Love and War, because those are complete opposites. And you started out at one place in this journey, and you ended up somewhere different. And if I'm not gonna pull you too deep down into the rabbit hole, how much of that can you share? The emotion of that, just pouring it all on paper and ending up somewhere that you never thought you'd be.
I don't think I was sad writing Love and War. I think it was kind of like oh my gosh, where did this all come from? The first book, it was like, let me write this and let me write something else tragic that happens to her so I can really get out everything. Like literally in that first book, there was like one whole chapter about me cutting off my locks. I went from when I first locked my hair to when I just walked into the kitchen. I was like, hey, Mom, let's go to the movies. And I've got, 2 full handful of locks. So I had to put that away. I don't think Love and War came from a place of sadness. I think it just came from a place of there was something in this book, and so it just moved over to Love and War. And they are completely two different things. I think that they're very closely related. Hate, love, love, war. And I just kind of put myself and my grandmother together because she was a domestic when she was younger, working for several families, and it just flowed. I wish I could answer that question so much better for you, but I think that's all I got.
Okay.
I should have been deeper.
No, not at all. And so, the interesting thing about coming on a show like this is like you never know what's going to come at you, right? We never know what you're going to say, and you never know what we're going to ask. And I think it's so interesting that at the very heart of this story, you went back to family. So you started with love from a place of heartbreak, and then when you first answered the question, he's like, he's a very nice guy. Now, usually when a woman is heartbroken, you do not end up saying he a very nice guy. Or maybe that's just
no. No,
but,
it's true. Like, this was not, it's one of those things where you love someone, you're in love, but you're in just two different places, and it's just not working. doesn't mean that person was bad. I mean, I've had some of those guys, but this was not one. And I'm thinking that's why I could not get that poetry out, because I wasn't in that awful, tumultuous place. I mean, it hurt,
right.
but it wasn't a hurt where I would want to put all that out there like that. So, yeah.
Yes,
It was different.
Okay, Lisa?
That is, taking your poetry, it always, like you said, it takes from pain, usually, or even love with poetry. How did you translate those feelings? I mean, you said you processed and then you changed directions and because you couldn't go there deep within yourself. So is that the reason you chose, okay, I'm going to write all fiction, I'm not going to use my poet hat, and I'm going to just go for it and make up things that happen?
I would say yes and no. The poetry just wasn't flowing. I don't know when, so I guess you could say that was a catalyst to say I've always been a writer. I took creative writing all through high school. I took it in college. E.R. Braithwaite, To Serve with Love, he was one of my professors.
Oh, wow.
This man told me that my writing was way too colloquial. So I was like,
Okay,
sir, not a problem. So didn't stop me from writing. I was like, I'm going to write what I hear. I'm going to write what's real, and that's what I wanted to do. So everyone says write what you know. I guess Love and War could be some of what I know because, again, I would say the main heroine is me. If I were me in 1940 and my grandmother, that kind of thing. But I don't think there was anything deeper that went into it. It was just, I can't do this. I happened to stumble upon this, and I was like, okay, well, let me see what other kind of writing I might be able to do because I hadn't done it in such a long time.
Okay, wonderful. So now let's get into the book. So you mentioned
Did
your
anybody
heroine.
read the book? Because I didn't.
That's her subtle way of saying read the book. Okay.
Read the book, people.
I'm kidding, folks. Read the book.
So, no, we are not kidding. We want you to read all of our books. We do not kid about reading books. Read the books, people.
Read it.
Yes, read the book. Yes, we say that in all sincerity. So let's get into the book. So we know that the heroine it's a historical novel, and the heroine is a blend of a part of you and a part of your grandmother, who obviously is very important to you. You've mentioned her several times already. Tell the audience a little bit about your heroine, when we meet her in the beginning of the story, and what do you want us to get from this heroine?
When you meet her, I don't think you really meet her the first time you see her. First time she's doing her thing, her job. She's a cocktail singer, so it's like a brief glimpse of her through the eyes of our alpha male hero. When you really meet her, well, you meet her as a grandmother. I'm sorry, we'll say that. Very early in the beginning, and she is talking to her daughter who is about to have a child, and she wants to tell them the story of how, well, I don't know how deep I can go without doing spoilers, but I would say when you meet her, you're going to like her. I don't think I did anything where she was too stupid to live. I do think that she does things. Honestly, I do believe, ladies, you got to have a little bit of, just a tiny bit of too stupid to live, because you got to keep the drama and something to happen in your book. But I don't think she does from the standpoint of like, why would you do that? It's kind of like, well, I'm a black woman. It's 1940, Nazi-occupied Paris. My options are few, so I'm going to do this